Ready or not, here we go. Pilot episode.
Hey, introductory episode.
Introductory episode. So,
Number one.
tell a little bit about yourself, your name.
I'm Brian Goss. Living in Florida right now. Transplant, obviously. Most people are here, right?
There isn't an original Floridian out here.
You'll meet some, but they're far and few
Far
between.
and few between, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just a regular dude living in Florida. Small pool company. Just ready to share some shit with the world, Just kind of.
So, what's your role in this podcast?
Oh, I'm bringing the hammer.
You're bringing the chaos.
I'm bringing the chaos. Yeah.
You're bringing the chaos. I'm supposed to bring order to this, and I don't know if I'm good. I think we're going to switch roles halfway through this.
Maybe.
We'll
see where it goes, though.
So, where are you from?
Maryland originally.
Yeah, we're at Maryland.
Southern Maryland mostly, but lived all over Maryland too.
Really?
So, yeah.
Bounced around a little bit.
Bounced around. Yeah.
Awesome. You're married.
I am. Yeah.
How many kids? You want to name your wife? You want to say the first name?
One female and 2 male offspring. That's probably the best way I've heard to say it. I like that.
That's actually a great one. That's awesome. I like that one.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you like to do?
Worry about the world, I guess, in my spare time.
Well, that sounds like fun.
And then you live the life, you do the business thing, you do the family thing, and then you.
But you're in the mix, though. How old are your kids?
There are 3 of them. They are 7 and under.
7 and under. So you're in the mix. That's just
chaos.
Constant chaos. Constant chaos. You live in chaos.
Yes. Every day
you're trying to organize chaos, literally.
Good attempt, but
no. So what I used to say to people is when you got one kid, you got 2 on 1.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 kids. Now you got man on man.
Well, that's what I said to everybody. It's like once we had the 3rd kid, it's like now I only have 2 hands. So if I ever needed to grab all of them, now I need help.
When you have 3 kids in a house, you got to drop back to zone defense and just protect your room. The house is gone. The house is gone. Just you got to give it up. But if you got 2, you can handle it. When you drop down to 3, man, you got to drop down to zone defense. Just protect the room.
Well, they're young, so it might change, but it's pretty orderly so far.
Good for you.
The wife does pretty good at all that stuff, honestly.
Good.
She does good. She handles it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, she handles you, too, so that's got to be a lot.
That's a lot to handle.
That is a lot to handle.
Me and 3 monsters.
So a total of 4 kids?
And then the kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, a little bit about me.
Yeah, a little bit about you.
Obviously a transplant from Michigan.
Are you a Youper?
I am not an Youper. I'm a lower, just outside of Detroit. So about 30 minutes north of Detroit is this little town called Lake Orion. Found a nice little place. Built a family there. Lived there for 30, 40 years. And then my kids are gone. And I said, you know what? I want to be warm for the rest of my life.
That's a big change from Michigan.
Oh, dude. Cold. I can tell you about cold. But you've been in Maryland. You get it.
A little, but not quite to that extent.
It's like a different level of
cold. Because you got lake effect wind, lake effect snow. You have the Canada drift coming down. That is no joke.
You got the Antarctic drift once in a while. So,
well, it's all related, right?
Well, no, it's just like once in a great while. I was telling the story about how cold it was in Michigan. This Floridian guy goes, "It gets cold here."
Oh my God.
I go, "Really? What have you seen?" He goes, "I seen 28 degrees." And I went, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "What do you think I've seen?" He goes, "Yeah, you've probably seen 28 below." I go, I've literally seen 50 below with a wind chill factor.
Yeah.
If you left your car outside, it was dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
I've seen a negative 27 with the wind chill in Pennsylvania before. Up in the
You're on your way.
On the mountains out there, yeah.
You weren't outside, were you?
I mean, occasionally. You gotta bite the bullet. It's like, what is all this business?
Cold.
So cold, so painful.
So painful. That's the word. That's the word that Floridians are.
But everybody forgets about the wind chill. The wind chill
is
it cuts through you, dude.
You know, I had a couple businesses there. I did finished carpentry and building for years, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But in December till May, you just can't do any outside stuff. Like you can't pour cement. You can frame, but you got to be in a freaking parka and Carhartts, and there's literally jackets now that are warming. You know about that?
Yeah. Thermal stuff has come a long way.
They got a battery pack.
The clapping type packs, right?
Yeah. To live. This is like to live, to work outside,
just to maintain normal.
Just now, you're not you're fighting normal. You're barely surviving. Then you go home and you're like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And out here, there's none of that.
It's equally miserable, just in the other direction.
I disagree.
Well, how many people do you see out past 11, 12 o'clock?
I was golfing today.
Yeah, that's leisure. That's
the example. The cart with the thing on it. See, this one kid, I was arguing with this one kid a long time ago. It was hilarious. He came from I think it was I forgot, Guatemala or something. And he goes, you can't, and we were in Disney. He goes, you can't escape the heat. I'm like, yeah, you can. Go in the shade.
It's better.
Go in the shade. If you got a breeze or a wind, you go by water and it's cooler. Go swimming. You can do that.
That's about the only reprieve is swimming.
You're right. It is. But where's the reprieve in Michigan?
Bundle up. Layers. There were layers. Fire. What do you mean?
At 50 below.
50 below. Well, the Inuits do it, don't they?
Can you die?
The Inuits do it. They igloo up.
Yeah, you might have to. There's people that have literally built igloos, and then just to survive. To live the rest of this day. I've got to build something.
Well, that's like the emergency situation, like a snowbank, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just dig yourself in and hunker down for the night or whatever the hell's going on.
And when I was a kid, one time I built a snow fort, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put a sled or something in there. And I went to bed and came back, and I saw that I had about this much space. And when I was done, it was the next morning, it just collapsed to this. And I was like, oh, what if I stayed in there and be froze to death?
Yeah, the inside. Nobody thinks about that, right?
No.
Packing in from the inside?
No, they don't. No, it's not a requirement. So I'm so glad to be here. I love it. And I came out here and I met you, and you come up to me with the most amazing, crazy concept. Every 5 minutes, you're like, hey, what about this? What about this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just how my brain works at this point.
And it's great. It's awesome. I love it. And what I want to do is, let's start this podcast up and just share your ideas and see if we can find truth in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we'll find truth. It's just how uncomfortable is truth usually for other people, right? That's the thing. But it seems to be what we suffer from either as a people or as a country. I don't know exactly.
Well, truth, this is hard.
It's like inconvenient truths or comfortable lies, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of where.
But what is truth?
Yeah, oh my God, isn't that a topic for the day, right? Everybody says my truth, my truth, my truth.
It's more
to make it seem like there is no objective truth, but
there's two people sitting here with a camera on us right now. That's an objective truth. I think when they try and confuse it, they're confusing my truth with my opinion.
My experience.
My experience creates my opinion.
Yeah.
Or my my concept of what this is. Mm-hmm. They say truth. That's your truth. It's not really your truth. There's what is truth? Well, let's dive into that one for a minute. What is truth?
Wow. I guess truth is what's true for everybody.
Well, that's objective truth.
Yeah, objective.
Right? That's
which has been debated for human history, if it can even be objective, right? This is the old Socrates thing. You remember Socrates?
I remember Socrates.
How he went out?
No. How'd he die?
So basically, they accused him of corrupting the youth.
Okay.
And because he was supposedly either pulling people away from how they were living then, or they thought he was pulling people away from the church or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you know how that was back in the day.
That was witchcraft.
So they basically wanted him to backtrack on his stuff, and he was like, "No." He was like, "Fine, we're gonna order you to a death then." I need hemlock. Remember the hemlock?
No,
it's this old wicked concoction that they would give people to kill him.
Hemlock was a drink. That's how much
It is a drink, but it's like.
But the end result is you die.
That's the result. Yeah, it's like the old way of poisoning someone, right?
The what is it, lethal injection now?
Yeah.
Here, just drink this, you know.
But that was the big thing, is that he thought that there was an objective truth, and the people at the time, the rulers and stuff, probably didn't want to hear that. They're like, "Nah, what I say is the truth." Kind of like now, right?
Well, now it's a little bit different, because when you have a monarchy or a kingship, you have a one secure ruler.
Yeah,
and that's not the truth, but that's a law. His word is law. Now what we have is a democracy, sort of a democracy, and a republic,
constitutional
republic, and that seems to be the best working, system we found so far.
Yeah,
all other ones fail.
But even this is not working.
Well,
it's not working.
Well, what is your criteria?
Oh, it's not working. Well, you say constitutional republic is what we are, but I feel it's more now corporatism.
That I agree with.
America is a company that is being run by some people, and they are maximizing their gains, whatever that might be.
We're run by the elite. I think there's 4 families that run the United States.
The Rockefellers.
The ones that own the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is a privately held company. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So there's shareholders.
They fought against having a Federal Reserve for so long.
Yeah, but there's somebody that holds stock in that, and somebody runs that. It's an organization. It's a company. The Federal Reserve is a company.
So sad to hear. Because that's centralized money. That's centralized government. That's kind of what we were trying not to do in the first place.
Speaking of what we didn't want to do, I heard this crazy concept. Rebels get murdered, get killed. And I thought about it. I'm like, well, let's think about this.
Rebels?
Jesus Christ was a rebel.
Well, it's like he'd go against the grain.
Well, he pissed.
This is
everybody.
This is what I say all the time too, dude. Protect your leaders.
Protect the good ones. Because the bad ones nailed them to the cross. Then you've got, the founding fathers. You know how most of them died?
No.
In prison.
Well, this is what happens when you challenge authority, right? When you challenge the status quo. You'd think,
I hate to say this, look at Donald Trump right now.
Yeah.
You like him or hate him, he's being prosecuted.
It's kind of anti-establishment, right?
Yeah.
That's because that's kind of what it's been for the past few years, especially, is the left and the right. It's always been establishment and anti-establishment.
Correct.
It's more of the dividing lines than the old ones they want to hang on to.
Agreed. I agree wholeheartedly. But why do you think there's 2 sides? I can explain this because
I don't know.
I've
wondered for a while why we have these presidential candidates. How come these 2 groups are the people that decide? How come the people aren't the people deciding who should be in these positions?
That is an amazing question. I got the answer for you.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going through America, and Billy's mentioned this. He goes, we have the greatest PSYOPs, we have the greatest PSYOPs operation happening in the United States today. If you want to take over a country, let me tell you, you ever hear about the white elephant?
No.
Okay, the white elephant. So I warfare I know a little bit about.
Yeah.
So if a king wants to take over another kingdom, he gives them a white elephant. White elephant takes a lot of effort.
A lot of resources.
To keep alive. A lot of resources, a lot of people, a lot of food. So not only the people that take care of them, the people that make the food for the elephant.
Yeah, right? Care and everything. Yeah.
Take care of it. So then it gives them an elephant. They make a zoo for them. And then you got a white elephant. And they give them another white elephant. They give another white elephant. They give another white elephant. And they get all these white elephants into this crew. Now the kingdom has to concentrate on keeping these.
You mean them resource poor by giving them gifts, kind of thing.
Resource poor by them giving them gifts. Now they can't make a big military, so they come in, take over. Now they got their white elephants back, and they've been fed for a couple of years.
That's nice.
So what the government's doing right now is they're divide and conquering.
That's the oldest goddamn thing. The house divided upon itself cannot stand, right?
That's 2,000 years old.
And that has never changed. Is this something that Billy talked about in the episode as well?
Yeah.
Speaking of Billy Carson, right?
Yeah, the guy is amazing. You had to listen to his podcast, and I was like a dog the whole time.
I had to, because I was like, there's no way I cannot just talk about this with somebody, because this is crazy. All this stuff.
He said it best. He goes, it's a PSYOPs operation. And it's the most, because a PSYOP, you don't know it's a PSYOP.
I heard similar to that. You know Eric Weinstein by chance?
I haven't heard of him.
Smart dude. Harvard guy, all that. But he came up, he said that there's only one problem.
Ooh, that's an interesting concept.
He said there's only one problem.
That's an interesting concept.
Managed reality. It's kind of like gaslighting if you think about it. Managed reality. Oh, you're not seeing this. Don't worry about this. Because the government manages the reality that the people see. Tonkin, right? Stuff like, you know.
Yeah, I never even thought of that.
He said there's only one problem.
But with the internet,
managed reality.
Yeah, but with the internet, we have the ability to get any situation. Everything's videotaped now. Mm-hmm. I mean, every people are going to the bathroom and videotaping. It's horrible. Yeah. But everything's videotaped. So once you get something, you put it online. I mean, it's out there, and it's once I load it into this computer, I put it into this part, put it into my phone, and put it into that. You can't get rid of it. You can't hide it.
Sure.
So, but what do they do with it once it's out there?
It doesn't matter, because it's like information is great, but if you just flood the internet with information, it doesn't mean that you're seeing the right information. And then you see so much information, you don't know what to believe and what not to believe. Like I said, confusion is the weapon of the day, right? So you just mass put out information, kind of like they would say, doctors say this is bad when we were growing up. And we find out 20 years later, doctors are saying this now, that was awful, asbestos or whatever the hell, right? There's always a report from somebody and then a conflicting report from somebody. So it's like, there's always like two sides to all of it. So more information doesn't always mean that you're getting the right opinion on the subject, you know?
So back to that truth point. So everybody's looking for truth.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Really? I think everybody's looking for truth.
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah. You ever seen somebody have an emotional argument? They're not seeking truth.
I've been married for 32 years.
They're not seeking truth. They're seeking what they want to make themselves feel good. Sometimes they will know it's not the answer. I think you're thinking of like men who are trying to like uphold shit, right? It's like that.
I'm thinking of men. Now you threw women into it because
children too. And there's a lot of adults walking around that I just call grown children now because they never grew up.
Well, is being a grown child terrible?
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
So spare the rod, spoil the child. So here we are.
There was this Harvard. I can help out on raising kids. I did a great job with two of them, and I got the best kids on the planet. There's a Harvard study. They wanted to find out geniuses, so they studied elementary kids, and they wanted to find out. So their idea of genius is creativity, and the kids, 90% of the kids were geniuses.
I heard about this.
And then by the time they got to sixth grade,
as they grow up, though, it's gone.
As the same kids, by the time they got to sixth grade, there wasn't a 90% of geniuses, there was 40% of geniuses. Mm-hmm. By the time they got to high school, they got down to 10% geniuses. So what makes us stupid?
Other people.
The schools.
Other people.
The schools.
Well, this is so crushing.
Deep.
It's so crushing though, because it's something I've been thinking about for probably like a decade now. But self-limiting beliefs are bullshit, and that seems to be where that's coming in, because they're getting told this and told that, when naturally they're fine. Just let them do their thing. They'll get there.
Well,
they need a little bit of help along the way, but don't box them in.
I've really
kind of another managed reality, maybe.
I really struggle with school. The more I hear about school, the more I.
Well, they say our model is adopted from an old Prussian model to create good, obedient soldiers.
That is the truth. That's 100%
That's
true.
what our model comes from.
That is 100%
and they
true.
probably helped a lot with the Industrial Revolution, right? Because they make good workers when they're obedient and do what they're told. And
well, it makes a good society.
When the people are obedient.
Well, yeah. Could you imagine
it goes back to the rebels?
A bunch of disobedience. But I really didn't do well in school. How did you do in school?
Fine at the stuff I cared about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
History, aced. Math, did average only because I refused to do homework. But I still passed.
Oh, they gave me my diploma to leave.
Yeah.
They're like, here, get out of here. I'm like, yeah, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
But no, I know the more I learn about schooling, here's the worst part. I love teachers. I don't want any teachers to get upset with me. I love teachers. I know a bunch of teachers,
teachers and bad teachers, just like everything.
There's good teachers. Most of them are good teachers. Most of them are very good teachers. Very, very good teachers. There's bad ones too. But what I don't like is I was talking to a teacher and she explained to me what the curriculum is. I said, who makes the curriculum? She goes, the board, school board. I'm like, oh, okay. Are they comprised of a bunch of teachers? She goes, no. I go, wait a minute. Help me understand this. A board that's never taught, she goes, yeah, is giving you a curriculum to teach these students. Yes. And you can't veer from this. She goes, absolutely. And I go, could you do it better? She goes, I had to explain the universe the way they wanted to in this book. It took me 45 minutes. Nobody got it. And I'm like, okay. How did you explain it to them? I put a 5-minute video on. Done. They aced the test, but she's not allowed to use that video. She doesn't listen to them, and she's like teacher of the year
too. From the text.
It's a curriculum. So when you set up a curriculum, you're setting up to learn, how to learn, the test part of the curriculum. Like, here's the test to prove that the curriculum was taught. What is a test? Test is just to prove that what was taught, right?
It's a memorization.
Yeah.
That's the problem with most of the school stuff and learning in general is most kids and people, they go and learn something to memorize it for a test. They ask those same kids a month or two later those same questions. They don't have a clue. It's like they're not learning to remember it. They're just learning it to memorize it to get a good grade.
They're just Yeah,
that's right. All it is.
You're 100% right. Do you think college is a scam?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow, you didn't stutter on that.
Absolutely, it is. I can get behind the STEM stuff.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, unless what's the use? What's the use? And I said this a few years back because it said, "Oh, I can watch Harvard lectures on my phone now." Why do we need you then?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
The only thing they have is accreditation. I've been on this for a while because even Jordan Peterson has his school that he's doing in Miami. You ever hear about that?
No.
He's doing a school. He can't get accredited because he's not like a facility and all this and that, whatever.
He's trying to get accredited, so it's a process.
But he's getting him learning things that...
He's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to do a whole podcast on just his...
He could do several. He's got so much out there.
He does.
I do pick at him though sometimes because he does have flaws in his game.
Really? I've never seen a hole in his armor.
You really?
No.
How about the people who say he seems to be just old man yelling at clouds?
That's an inaccurate assumption.
It is not, because sometimes he gets on the rants and it's like, well, why are you even going down this road? Who cares?
You know what he seeks out? Well, what is his end goal?
Conclusion.
His end goal is to help people. He's a clinical...
End goal is conclusion.
Yeah.
He wants the conclusion of the problem, the process, whatever's going on right there.
He's a clinical psychologist, and all he's done is help people for his whole life.
Yeah.
And he understands psychology well.
Yeah.
I love it when he debated that one girl from England. Oh, my God. It wasn't even supposed to be a debate.
Oh, the reporter lady?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that didn't work out for her.
No. He's famous, and she's like... She's famous
for the wrong reasons now.
She is absolutely famous for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
What was the big biting thing there? I can't remember exactly.
You know what it was? I know exactly what it was.
I know you do. It's fresh on your brain.
Truth. So she goes like this to him. I mean, I'm gonna butcher this up, so I apologize profusely.
Yeah.
But she was just rapid fire. She had all the questions, just rapid fire on him. And then she said, why does your right to speak your mind trump a transgender's right? And then he thought about it for a second.
And he goes, to risk talking, you risk offense.
When you have a conversation, you risk offending somebody. Yeah. And he goes, why? He goes, if you, in a conversation, you're seeking out truth. I don't know if he said that exactly, but if you risk offending the person, then you can find truth, the uncomfortable truth. And then she goes something to the effect of, see, we've been in this conversation for a couple minutes now. Why is it okay for you to make me feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, you've been berating me.
For the last 15 minutes. Yeah. And then she goes like this. Yeah, you kind of got me on that one. Because it was the seeking truth.
Yeah. It's the same as most things, though. Rules for thee, not for me, right?
Well, if you let it.
Hypocritical stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, everybody's been hypocritical at one point in their life.
Of course.
But
still am on so many things.
Exactly.
But like I tell the wife sometimes, just because I do this and you say not to do it in front of the kids, you don't let them drive a car, do you? You know what I mean? There's other things, you don't let them have guns, do you? Come on now. There's got to be dividing lines here of some kind.
I'll never forget the time I was in construction and I loved it. And, I was with a bunch of dudes, and we're working together. And I'm like, swear this, go after yourself. And your mom is ugly and stretchy.
Shop talk.
Shop talk. There you go. And then, my wife was pregnant and she goes, you're going to have to quit swearing when he's born. I'm like, yeah, no problem. He's born and he starts getting, you got to stop swearing when you can understand what's going on. I'm like, yeah, he starts understanding what's going on. I kept swearing, but when you hit your fingernail with a hammer, there's no other better word than
there's no other accurate expression.
There's no other. I haven't found it yet. It's not like, oh, this really hurts. That does not an accurate description.
It's an, oh, the pain.
Oh, the pain. Nothing other than
man.
So you had me watch this Billy Carson, right?
Oh man.
What did you get out of that? Here we go.
All kinds of stuff, dude. So, have you ever heard of a ferrofluid before then?
No.
I hadn't either.
I still don't even understand what it is.
So, it's ferrofluid, a metal fluid like mercury. You magnetize a torus, rotate it 60,000 RPMs, pressurize a torus with 250,000 atmospheres of pressure, I assume that is. And then you electrify it, and you get anti-gravity properties, apparently. I was like, and he's like, this is common knowledge. I'm like, this dude says all that stuff, right? Because he dives so deep. He just talks like, oh yeah, doesn't everybody know this? Like, no, everybody does not know this.
No.
I'm so happy that he got exposure, though. Remember, it was a week or two ago, I told you he went on a different podcast, The Flagrant.
Yeah.
I said, I'm so happy that he got this notoriety now because everybody's been kind of, not shadow banned, just like suppressing him, right? They don't want to hear him. But he got on Flagrant. They have like millions of views and stuff. And then it was just a week later, what happens? He's on Rogan. And I'm like, yes, he made it to the big show. Finally.
He did make it to the big show.
Rogan's on fire too lately with the Terrence Howard episode and this one.
I looked at it. I don't really watch podcasts that much. No. And when I saw Rogan, when you sent me Billy's, 2,194 episodes. 2,190 episodes. That is insane. How long has he been doing it? You got to think about it. If you do 3 podcasts a day, 3 1-hour podcasts a day, and you work 6 days a week, right? You're at.
How long has he been doing? He was one of the
not that OGs. Long. He's original OG. Don't get me wrong.
He's one of the original guys.
The one that intrigued me the most is Hoist Gracie. He's like, I didn't get a chance.
That's your world right there.
That is my world.
That's his world too. Huh? I haven't seen it. I know a little bit about him and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I was ready to just see him worship his God, I guess.
Who?
Rogan.
He doesn't.
The Gracies?
Oh, worship his God?
Yeah.
He's
all about that, you know?
He's he's you know the world's greatest tragedy. Joe Rogan never jumping into a ring.
No, he did. Not a MMA style, but he did plenty of Taekwondo stuff. He was a state champ for Taekwondo, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Thought about going to the Olympics with it, but realized after a while he was fucking up his brain. So he was like, "Yeah, that's not good. I'm not gonna do that."
He was amazing. Like I saw one of his reverse spin kicks. Knock a dude out.
Infamous thing right there. His reverse spinning kick.
Do you know that?
Whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, it's reverse. It's a reverse. You can reverse crescent, reverse side kick.
Yeah,
and it's it is one of the most powerful kicks. I was teaching a kid. I've been to the U.S. Open. I've competed a few times, and I'm helping this one kid out down the road, and he was doing side kicks. Trying to get ready for the side kick, and so we stack up like 10 to 14 2-inch by 8-inch by 16-inch cinder blocks with a half-inch space with a pencil spacer in between them, and you side kick and see how many you can break, right? And so how do you practice that is someone holds a bag, and I'm pretty much out of that, so I'm going to help him. So he just starts kicking me as hard as he can. And there was this one time, a long time ago, there's this guy from Korea, and he, most people run at this pile, and then everybody holds it, and boom. And there's one guy from Korea started running and did a reverse spin kick, went bam, and he did pretty well.
It's the torque, right? It's the torque.
Yes.
You're getting your hips involved in
centrifugal force. Not just momentum, centrifugal force. Bam! But that's timing. I mean, there's a
lot of timing, a lot of practice.
A lot of
balance involved.
A lot of balance.
Yeah.
I don't know why. One of the other teachers, one of the other black belts goes, "Hey, man, why don't you try the reverse spin kick you like so much?" I'm all right, I'm holding it. I've been holding it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes with this kid, wearing him out. You go as high as you can go, and then you push it as hard as you can.
So you had several different kicks already from him.
I've had 20, 30, 40 kicks by him.
By then.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can take a good hit. And then he does that kick, bam! And I go, whoa! I go, I'm done. And what happens is you hold this pad, and he literally hit it so fast, hit me in the ribs.
Punched through the bag almost.
He hit my arm, hit my ribs, and hurt it. Right? And then I go, oh, okay, Tom, here, do me a favor, hold this. And he does the same kick. Boom, Tom's out. His dad, hey, do me a favor and hold this. Bam, he's out. He's been kicking me for 20, 30 minutes. He might be kicked for 20, 30 minutes.
He's definitely not fresh, yeah.
No, he's not fresh. Knocked 3 grown adults out holding a pad because of that kick.
That torque.
Joe Rogan does it. Do you know that he has the highest torque? You knew that? Yeah. He has the highest torque. He has the highest. He's showing Sean Pierre how to kick George St. Pierre, how to do that kick.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And he was just going bam, bam, bam. And then they finally had, now they have meters. You can see how many foot-pounds. He's got the highest. And he's not even competing.
No. But he works out like a madman, too.
He does, but the original part of this conversation, Joe Rogan not in the UFC. No. That's the worst.
No.
Yes.
He's much more valuable as a podcaster with a working brain.
One fight? He tried. He went for one, right? He signed for one?
I don't think I know.
Yeah, so Wesley Snipes.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember this.
Wesley Snipes.
I think it was on the back of his tax, his tax issues, right?
Money.
And they were going to fight each other, I guess.
And then it never happened. I think it was Wesley that backed out.
I think it was too, because he was probably not gonna. Rogan, he was ready. He was in camp. It sounded like, or whatever he was doing. It sounded like he was trying to put himself through something like a camp.
It doesn't matter what you do. You're up against Rogan. So Rogan.
Him then isn't what he is now either. Though you gotta figure he's been working out. And he's getting smarter about working out. He's getting smarter about his supplements. He's getting smarter about his sleep, his health, his everything. He's way more conscious of that type of stuff now, especially being older.
But being older, trust me, you lose. You lose.
Of course, you lose some.
You lose now. That is tough.
Most of that is speed. Honestly, that's the main thing you lose. I know you'll have weaker joint things a little bit, right? But that's the only thing you really lose is speed a little bit. Well, they say power is the last thing to go.
Power is the last thing to go.
That's why you see 60, 70-year-old strongman dudes. It's like, what are y'all? Y'all crazy.
You'd be surprised. They call it old man strength.
Yeah.
Old man strength.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, Olgic or something. This big ass white dude from somewhere. He's got like
some Viking from the.
Yeah, it's a big ass dude, but he's like 60 years old or something. He's out here just the grip strength off the charts.
Yeah, I think I saw that guy a couple times.
You see Juju Mufu, I think is his name. You ever heard of
Juju Mufu?
Yeah.
No, I have not heard of that one.
He's like he's a guy. I saw this older guy on his video. They were doing grip strength stuff. He's a strong dude, built dude. So much so he has a picture of him. I think it's maybe his profile picture of him doing a splits on some chairs.
How old?
How old is he? Like 30, 35?
You can do that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that he's jacked and he's still flexible and stuff. I think he has, I don't know if it's a gymnastic background or something like that where it would keep him fluid, right? But he's out here and I don't think he topped the old man as far as grip strength.
Well, I hate to say it.
And he's jacked. No big old, he's a little jacked, but he's really just got sausage for fingers, you know? This dude's ain't no joke.
The older guys have certain advantages. Like, how long do you know your wife?
How long have I known her?
Yeah.
12, 13 years, something like that.
Okay. Did you ever pick her up when she was younger? Pick her up, throw her on the bed, or have fun with her?
Yeah, still try. She don't let me.
And picking her up and moving around. Did you notice it was a little bit easier back then?
No.
Okay, it is, and it's bone density. So they could weigh the same, but they don't weigh the same. They could be
they're different.
We are all different. We all, as we get older, we get more dense.
More dense.
More dense. But then as you get, for a period of time, then you get weaker. But there's a lot to, oh God, I got to get into bone density. So didn't want to go down this road.
Why?
So I compete at the U.S. Open in brick breaking.
Oh, this is your world, bone density.
This is my world.
Yeah.
And I've learned this and I understood this. So when you're younger, your bones are softer and more pliable, right? When you're born,
Define young here. What do you mean?
So anywhere from baby till 17, 18. Now you get into the adult era, it starts to harden up a little bit, rigid, more dense. And then it stops around 40, 50. And that was my sweet spot. I literally started competing around 45. And I was like, why am I doing so well against these 30-year-olds? And they have not as dense bones. And you gain more density when you practice martial arts.
Yeah.
The one thing about life,
they'll punch shit to break their hands, get the micro fractures so that they'll grow back stronger than they were.
Exactly. That's called Wolff's Law. Whenever there's a law or there's a...
Micro fractures is basically what they're doing.
Yes.
That's the whole Kill Bill thing. Remember? She had to punch her way out or whatever.
Yes.
That's it.
Great scene in the movie.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah.
She just comes out of the grave.
The 2-inch punch or whatever they would call it, right?
Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch.
There you go.
And they... By doing that, the why I did so well is I did a lot of it. It's called hard body conditioning. I'd punch walls, I'd throw my elbow against walls, and then in the gym you always have a bar coming down, holding up the place. I'm hitting against a solid bar. And what it does is this is really kind of cool and crazy. When people start breaking for the first time, like if I had you start breaking some really hard stuff, cement, and I go bam, and you hit it, and you're like, oh wow, kind of hurt. I'm like, okay, good, do it again. Bam! And we do it like 2 real hard times in a day. The next day, you're going to be bruised. You're going to be scratches. Then a week and a half later, you're going to do it. Bam! Bam! Less bruising. By the 3rd time, you almost don't bruise.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always wondered what that was. I didn't think it was just mind over matter stuff. I'm like, no, there's something physical happening here.
The beauty of our physique, which is, amazing. The more stress you put on it, the better it gets.
Well, anything that'll kill you make it better, right?
Makes you stronger. Exactly. So how do you build a muscle? You tear it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, you sleep.
The more stress you put in, recovery. There's recovery in that. But the more stress you put on the human body, the stronger it gets.
The human body is so resilient. People really don't give it credit. Well, the credit that it deserves.
Remember Billy Carson said that you can map petabytes. I don't know if it's 100, 1 million gigabytes onto a DNA strand. That's insane.
Well, they found this out a little while back that you can actually encode data and put it on DNA. Yeah,
that's insane.
A DNA hard drive is one of the things I was going to bring up too, because that's what they have now. They have DNA that they can use as a hard drive.
How can you reliably weird? Put it on and put it off, and how long is DNA going to last?
You know what's really weird though is when it came up with the link of how much data could be stored in the human body based on the numbers that they got from whatever. I was like, oh, that's 13.5 billion years of information. What else is 13.5 billion years? They assume the start of the universe is that old, right?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say, anyway.
That Billy, every time he started talking, it started blowing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
He was absolutely amazing. Every time he talked about UFOs and this and that, he goes, I know this guy, and I know this guy, and I know this guy. Yeah. And he knows everybody.
You know what's so funny? I was watching it, and Rogan even commented on it at one point. He's like, I'm surprised how many notes you don't need. Because he was like, hold on, let me grab some notes. Because, and I've seen his show a bunch, it's like he has gotten to the point where, you know, like when you teach.
Yeah.
You have said something so many times. You have jam-packed it full of information. And I can't even, but he'll have these little spiels, like he'll go on this and I'm like, I know what he's about to say for the next 30 seconds because it's this condensed, information-packed little punch he's about to hit you with. And he came out with like 4 or 5 of those with Rogan.
More than that.
I was like, you know, this is so funny. It's just like watching his show because he's rambling off about the same kind of things.
You know, the stuff he was talking about really kind of blew my mind. He was talking about the Emerald Tablets.
Do you know about the Emerald Tablets?
He kind of explained it to me.
Okay, so this is your first knowing about them, or is your first dive
experience into it? I've heard of the ancient Sumerians. Yep. I've heard of it. That's it.
Yeah.
But when he explained it to
me, Babylon and all
that they were probably aliens from another planet, and they talked. Believe it or not, he was talking about one part, and they talked about the Creator. So
they knew that they weren't gods, but this is kind of what I get at with the whole Christian stuff. It's like, you know that all that stuff is based on older stuff, right?
Not really,
but nobody ever thinks about that.
Well, let me.
It's the same thing I get on with the Muslim stuff. I'm like, you know that's based on older books too, right? Like,
so
why aren't we just going back for all of it?
I would say I'm really just a Christian. So from Jesus on, then you talk about the Old Testament. You know, he was talking about the flood. Mm-hmm. He was talking about the flood, and the Sumerian tablets are talking about the flood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they said something. Didn't Billy say that there was a desert of whale bones?
Yeah, Egypt, I think, somewhere in Africa.
So that would lean to massive amounts of water. A whale. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get 6 feet and get a whale.
Right. Right.
You're going to get.
Well, they said that the Sahara used to be lush. Used to be full of vegetation.
That is insane.
Like 5,000, 6,000 years ago is what they're thinking.
But didn't he talk about, you know, he what I love about him is he would imply. He would never say.
That's perfect. And I don't even know how many times he used it. Yes.
I hypothesize.
Dude, and the way the world is working, everybody wants you to be 1,000% certain of something. I'm thinking that this hypothesized word might be the most important word in the English language, especially right now. Because, you know.
Well, because
you got to cover your ass kind of thing, right?
It's not really cover your ass, it's because scientists have been wrong forever.
Yeah.
Right? Forever.
They thought Galileo was a whack job for a while, you know. This is protect your leaders again. Protect your leaders. I am not even joking.
The good ones.
Because this is where you get lost with no truth.
Well, truth.
Look at the JFKs of the world. Look at the MLKs of the world. Look at
the disciples. The disciples, most of them died of crucifixion.
Really?
The founding fathers.
Because the law was chasing them because they were about to change some shit. They're about to make big things happen.
The rebels.
You want to go with the rebels? There's another word I have in my head.
Like what?
Revolutionaries?
Revolutionary? Rebels or revolutionary?
Well,
yeah, we'll go
rebel just rebels. Doesn't really mean he's doing anything productive.
We'll go with revolutionary. I like that one.
Yeah.
The revolutionaries get killed.
Absolutely. They challenge power.
Yeah.
And they say, you want to see where power lies? What can't you talk about?
Who's telling you can't talk about it?
You'll feel it. Talk about it. What word can't you say?
The N-word.
There's power.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
If it can self-censor you, make you self-censor, then that's power, isn't it?
I found that the only power is the power you give it.
Well, we're creatures of meaning, I guess you could say.
We create the meaning, though.
We are creatures of meaning, yeah.
We create the meaning.
That's why everybody's meaning's a little different. It's my truth shit all over again.
Why is gold valuable?
Who knows? Who knows? And especially of the day is the biggest thing. And Rogan pointed that out. It's like, how come when you can't make a weapon out of it, you can't make a lot of stuff from gold?
Can't eat it.
Can't eat it. What is it? Really conductive and really reflective? I don't know what else it is, really.
Spot it? Now, what does that value have? But it's the limited supply of it. So if the Anunnaki were mining gold and they took the majority of it away, that would leave limited resources left on this planet of gold.
Okay.
Right? So a limited resource, if you don't have enough of it, right, and then you start putting it on jewelry, then hey, wait a minute, we don't have enough. Well, I heard this crazy. This is gonna throw some stuff in the game.
There we go.
De Beers has warehouses of diamonds. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're creating the demand for diamonds.
Scarcity creates value.
That's insane. Where's it at? I want to break in.
I don't know.
Warehouses.
If you did and had all of them all over in the world, though, your value would plummet. They wouldn't be worth nothing.
Have you ever sold a diamond?
Ever sold a diamond?
Yeah.
Like after I bought it, kind of thing.
Doesn't matter. You ever try and sell a diamond?
No, I usually let my wife sell her stuff.
So someone said that when you buy it, it's thousands of dollars. When you sell it, it's hundreds of dollars.
Well, they say, what's the value of a diamond? What's it worth to you? That's all it's worth.
You know what the weirdest part is?
We're creatures of meaning, man. I'm telling you.
Do you know what we use it for in the construction industry?
Diamond drilling.
Yeah. Well, cutting and drilling. So
yeah.
I was talking to my tile guy friend of mine, and he's cutting. And I go, "You gotta watch your fingers." He goes, "What are you talking about?" And he starts touching the blade of a. That's what I said. I use miter boxes and cut your hand off. If you got caught with a miter box, it would just tear right through. And I've seen guys rip their hands open, cut their thumbs and fingers off. Oh, it's horrible. He's touching the blade. And that's a diamond blade. And I'm like, and it's just for a human. It doesn't for.
I don't know if it's diamond coated or what it is though, because I've seen these blades and you can touch them and it won't mess you up. But I think it's more of the hardness of it more than it is the cutting of it.
It's the cutting.
It's like the speed plus the hardness, and it has a tip or blade to it, but it's not like
it doesn't have a blade to it.
It's not like you typically think though. No,
it's not. It doesn't have a blade to it.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing. It's literally, dude. It blows my mind when I think about this. It's a round disc, metal disc, and then you see about this much of it with a brown edge around the whole thing, and it looks like the cars that have sparkly in them. Like iridescent part to them. It's all it looks like. And it's a little crushed up diamonds put on there and kept on there. And the diamonds being jagged, as small as they are, just rip through cement and porcelain, the hardest stuff on the planet. But a human can just touch it and just play with the end of the blade.
Yeah.
So it's amazing but that's really the only use for diamonds for me. Building something.
I can't see any other real.
Well, do you ever buy a diamond for your wife?
Yeah.
Well, I got one. Every guy that's got married has got one.
That's because we were told. Well, I think people in general just like shiny things. I think it's pretty simple if you were to.
I don't disagree with
boil
that
it down.
As bad as it sounds, I don't.
I get that because my wife loves colors. Like she loves colors. And on this, that, whatever. It's just like I could care less.
But that makes a good husband and wife. So if someone cares about something, you let them do it.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, that's your thing. Whatever.
Yeah, I've learned that a long time ago. Like when you're building a team or doing anything, your best bet is the person that loves doing something. Let them do it.
They'll go the farthest in it.
It makes for a great team. Like when we had to put finished carpentry, we had to put these mansions together, and we did McMansions. Like we've done 12,000 McMansions. Well, true mansions down to a 4,000 square foot with a ton of wood in it,
detailing all.
And had like 5 or 6 guys, and I'm like, "What do you like doing?" I like hanging doors. Guess what you get to do? It's all right. And then what do you like doing? I like doing casing and base. You follow him. What do you like doing? I like doing the architectural stuff, the mantles, the crown molding. Guess what? You do that. What do you like doing? I like doing staircase. All right, cool. You do staircases. And then when they went into a house, everybody knew what to do. They loved what they did. They got it done better, faster, and easier than most people. But if you got someone that likes hanging doors, doing base, or doing crown molding or something like that, he's not going to be happy.
This is being a good leader, really.
Yeah,
that's what I said. It's like a basketball team. They say, know your personnel.
The team. Know your team.
If he can't shoot threes, don't have him out there shooting.
Don't have him shooting.
If he can't dunk, don't have him at the rim.
In front of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the right person in the right job. Yep. And it really just makes an amazing. It makes an amazing team.
Yeah. Wow.
It makes an amazing
team. You get people out there want to micromanage everything, and then that's when things start going wrong.
Actually, when you micromanage, so I've seen a lot of people do really well at micromanaging, but the one thing they don't do is keep personnel. So when you micromanage, because they have a system, the people that are really hyper focused on micromanaging, I'm going to do this, I want to do this like this, I want to do this, I'm going to do this like this, I'm going to have you just do this, I'm going to have you just do this, I'm going to have you just do this, and then they micromanage them, then there's no creativity in the person to, I want you to do this.
Yep.
I want you to teach from this book. You can only teach from this book. You can't play any videos. Right?
Yeah.
But she's like, I need to teach the kids. I need them to get good grades. I'm going to play the 5-minute video.
Yep.
So this, when you have somebody that does something, they know it better than you do.
Yeah.
When you think you know it better than them and they're doing it constantly.
Right.
That's retarded.
That's hubris.
Oh, I love that word. You've been playing that a lot and I love it.
The hubris of man.
The hubris of man.
So sad. Over and over again, dude. I was talking about the sparrows. Remember I think it was Mao. Remember telling you about the sparrows?
No.
Oh my god! I wish I could fact check all with the numbers.
We're gonna throw shit out there and let it hit the fan.
I think it was Mao did it, where they were having an issue with sparrows. They were picking at their vegetables. They were coming in there, messing shit up. They were losing a certain percentage of their stuff just because the sparrows kept coming in. And the guy was like, I know what to do about this.
Really?
They just sparrows? Went on mass sparrow hunting. It was a massacre. They just killed all the sparrows.
When was this?
I think it was Mao over in China, right?
Okay. I don't know how you kill a bunch of sparrows with bows and arrows.
Why? I'm sure there was a marksman back then.
Sparrow, dude.
They're Chinese not that big. Have been doing arrows for how long?
Yeah, that's true too.
Gunpowder's only recent,
I saw this one girl that's with archery. She threw up a ring.
Yeah, see?
That's insane.
Like the Tangled movie all over again. Or whatever the hell it was. Oh, Brave. That was it.
Brave.
But, so they had an idea to kill all the sparrows. They're like, all right, fine. We're going to take it to the sparrows. And they took it to the sparrows. No more sparrows. Then they come back later, and whatever they thought they had lost in the sparrows, now all of their shit's gone.
Really?
All of
the insects. Because the sparrows would eat the insects.
Because the caterpillars and stuff that the birds were eating ain't eating them no more. So they just had happy-go-lucky on all of their food. And there was a mass starvation because of it. The hubris of man. He wants to put his little finger on the ecosystem and I got this.
Every time we do that, it just doesn't work out.
Oh,
every time
we pretend we're so much smarter than nature,
I love that word, pretend.
We pretend, man.
No, it is easily.
It's the same thing out in I think it's Saudi Arabia. Have you seen what they're going through?
I know they're building some crazy stuff. Oh, I saw that.
Do you know what that's from?
No.
So they're doing their own cloud seeding.
With what?
Some chemicals, some sodium, something. They're throwing it up in the air, and it's collecting moisture. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it works too good. Because they just flooded every fucking thing. And I don't know if it's still going on, but they were really going through it.
Well, you just stop seeding.
It's in the desert, and it's downpouring, dude. There's
I saw some videos of that, and it was like
I saw somebody say eBay's going to be flooded with supercars soon because they're all going to be flooded out. You can get a Lambo for $100 or something.
I would do that.
I'll try. Hell yeah!
I put the time into cleaning that out and getting that back up there for $100.
But yeah, he said eBay Motors is going to be flooded with supercars soon. You just know how they roll out there. They're all fancy.
But isn't it amazing that we can actually make it rain?
Yeah, tell it to the Dust Bowl people.
Well, the Emirates borrow the machine. They're not going to want to use it for a little bit.
Well, the Dust Bowl. Remember the Dust Bowl?
No, which Dust Bowl are you talking about?
Midwest, out in like the 40s, I want to say.
Oh, jeez, that was tough.
Everybody was starving because the drought was happening, and then the drought happened, and then the wind came, and it was a double. Everybody got fucked. They could have used some of that seed clouding.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get it to stay in one place. That's kind of interesting because you know how the clouds are always moving and stuff.
Why don't you put 50 or 100 of them out?
But it's like some sodium something and some other thing, and you can set it up there, and it'll just collect moisture.
How do you get it up there?
You drop it from a plane, probably.
Chemtrails?
Similar. Yeah. Billy talked about that a little bit too, I think. The chemtrails. I don't know a ton about it, but he said it was basically bull.
I thought it was bull from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't have much faith in it, but you know. There's always room for a little more conspiracy in this world.
There's always some room for more conspiracy. I gotta admit, there's always room for more conspiracy.
Leave room for doubt, right?
That's really the key. You know, you can sound confident and be confident and still be wrong.
Yeah.
Leave room for doubt.
Well, this is with the whole protect your leaders thing, right? It's allow, because that's what a real
Would you want to protect good leaders or do you want to protect bad leaders?
I think leaders rise to the top only when they've been vetted by the people.
Really? What do you think of the Canadian leader right now?
Oh, Trudeau? Well, they say Canada is no longer a free country.
I would have to agree with that.
They say that. I believe it.
So, should you protect him?
I mean, you shouldn't have anybody take him out. As beneficial as that might be, but you gotta have the systems in place, right?
Dude, I saw, you know,
it's like if somebody took out Biden right now. It's like, yeah, but it's not what you're supposed to be doing.
I understand.
Only the government is allowed to take out presidents, apparently.
JFK.
Yeah.
I get it. That's a good point. Only the government is supposed to take out people.
Yeah.
Biden's older. You know, he's trying, and I know there's a bunch of people. He's trying.
He's trying to what?
He's trying.
Make sure he wakes up.
If that's all he's trying to do, then that's all he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But he's trying, and I don't think he's
trying to read the prompter. He's trying.
I just think the people that are running our country and are just have their heads so far up their ass. They don't understand.
They probably always have, for the most part.
I think there's been good. You know, there's been good and
even
bad
when they're
leaders.
good, they'll be so far up their own ass.
No, I think there's. You know, I've seen a lot of them, and I've identified a few that I liked. You know, like I hate to say this. You know, every time I say Bill Clinton, I'm like, he was good. He was a good leader.
I heard before from people that said that he was a good president because he was a limited president.
He did 2 terms.
Well, they didn't have both the was it the Senate and the House?
No,
whatever the hell it was. But they said that he didn't have one of those, so they were
you didn't control him.
They were continuously limiting what he could do, so he looked like a good president.
Well, you know, we came off of really hard times after that, and he really, you know, a lot of people don't understand what a presidency can do, like to make our economy flourish. Yeah, there's certain things you can do, but sometimes it just doesn't flourish.
Well, look at 9/11, right?
9/11.
Just different events happen that you can't control.
You know, 2001. You know, in the Gulf War.
2008.
2008. 2008. You know, they tried to get everything back on track, but that was just horrible.
Well, they force-fed 2008.
They force-fed 2008.
Big banks are too big to fail, apparently.
Well, that one was a unique collapse of the housing system, and then people got once you. This is really weird. You probably, I don't know, you were about that time. The weird part about it was typically when someone gets evicted, let's say someone gets evicted, they get all pissed off and they just leave, right? They were having, I'll never forget this, they were having eviction parties. They tear the house or apartment apart.
In 08 you're talking?
Huh?
In 08 you're talking?
Yeah.
Because they knew that they were upside down. It wasn't going to work out anyway.
Right, but then all these houses were sitting, all the banks went under, and it was just horrible. And
the banks should have gone under, all of them. All the ones that were upside down, no, y'all need to go.
If you're doing bad practices, so, and there's another caveat to that, which was horrible, was no document loans. I've had hundreds, if not, I probably had hundreds of loans in my life in business, and the only one I never completed was in 09 in Georgia. A friend of mine goes, "Hey man, we're gonna build a house, man. Buy this lot." I'm like, "Hey man, I'm not doing that. 08. We're not. I don't know if I can get a loan." He goes, "Oh, it's a no doc loan."
Like, what's that? That was a thing.
I didn't either.
A fucking IOU.
So you can say you make $1 million a year and get this loan. They're like, okay with it, but they were backing against the real estate that you were buying. They didn't care about your credit that much and how much you made. How much was this property worth?
They were treating it like commercial loan.
No,
that's
what
I've heard about commercial loans, because when you get a private loan, they'll look at your personal finances and stuff. But when you get a commercial loan, they're like, how much does the property make? How much is the property worth? That kind of thing.
A lot like that. We'll say that in a personal. But that's
in a personal situation, which doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, what I tried to explain to people is, back in 08, a new event happened. And I have a lot of people argue with me on this, and I don't care, because houses generally don't lose money. In 08 was the first time they lost up to 40%. Up to 40. If you had $100,000 houses, worth 60.
It was saturated, though.
Huh? It was saturated because all the houses were foreclosed on.
Yeah.
And people were starting to...
You just moved here a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So, fun fact. Because when I got here, it was about 08.
Really?
March of 08 is what I've dated it to. I've tried to trace it a few times. So I moved here in the middle of all that. This isn't even what it was. This was a poor ass area. The local little 1-floor open shopping, not open, but I just call it a large shopping center. Right. The mall right here.
Yeah, the mall.
Oh, doing so bad.
Really?
Like, stores started closing left and right. You see, they knocked off the Sears now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This thing's not doing well. But it was awful then. I moved here. This place was in competition with San Francisco for the most foreclosures in the country then.
Really?
This area.
Pasco County, Florida.
I was going to say it was Port Richey specifically.
Really?
Yes.
Back in 08. I got to check that out now.
Yes.
You just gave me a great adventure to look at.
That's why all these investors came through, and I started catching on to what was going on and stuff. But then you had people with no money. And I want to say that there was a boss I had a while back who was in the area, and he did like the company either did it for him or he had it done or whatever the hell, but they would do like median pays for like an area. Mm-hmm. And like, so this downtown Newport Richey area, I want to say, don't quote me, but I want to say the median income at the time was like $13,000 a year. Because there's nothing but like trailers, like towards Green Key and stuff, right? You see all the trailers back there and this and that, like
13,000.
I want to say it was like 13,000, the median income. Because you'll have a few really nice homes, but there's just so many other people that this was a retirement area almost exclusively. You got to figure we're way north of Tampa, we're way north of St. Pete. This is where people would go to work and make money.
Well, this is
not here. There was no money here. A lot of people that lived here were retirees who weren't about to spend that money either. So you had no work.
They didn't have it.
There was no work because they weren't about to spend. They were on a fixed income kind of life. And they were like, I'm not trying to spend more than I have to. So there's no real opportunity for work here.
Well, just so you know, there's no opportunity for work anywhere. Like in 08 and 9, I think it was 9, we were doing, we're trying to look at where to find business. And then a friend of mine said, this is just when the internet, was getting, starting to come out. He goes, we're looking to find out any permit. So he sold trusses. The trusses are the top part of your roof, mm-hmm. right? Just, big piece of wood put on there to hold up your roof and your drywall from the bottom. And he goes, and he's a truss salesman. He made great money up to then. And then in 2009, he's like, we went to see all the permits pulled in Michigan. And there's 9 of them. 9 new house permits. And you got other trust companies.
Building, or people stopped?
People stopped building. They just stopped dead. There was no building.
Wow.
And then what I did at the time was remodeling and building. So, we fell back into that.
Scared money's not going to move.
No. I mean, it was bad. It was like I was with a bunch of financial guys, and they said, we're going to look back at this and go, wow, I can't believe we just went through that. And I'm like, do you really think that it's going to be, it's going to be known as that bad? And now it's probably the, equal to the Great Recession, the Great Depression. I mean, if you look at it monetarily wise, percentage from then to then,
the money
even
dropped.
In the Great Recession, houses didn't lose money. And if you had your money, up till then, everybody was like,
money.
Where's your best?
Money meant so much different of a thing back then. I think.
Yeah. There's credit and stuff like that.
Well,
but what was your biggest asset? What was your biggest asset up to 08?
Up to 08, the biggest asset is a home. Probably. Right.
Most people have most of their money.
I say that's how most people get to be a millionaire. They do the house thing, they do the 401k thing, and after 30 years, you're a millionaire or whatever. Right? That's typical. Whatever.
Yeah, that's how you do it. But houses never lost money at that point. What if you put all your money into the bank and you had $1 million and you lost 40%? Now you got $600,000. Let's see, you have $200,000. Now you've got you got 40% of so it'd be 80,000 off 200,000. You got 120 grand. You had $200,000. Yeah. What if that was your retirement?
Well, I think it's just like stocks. You only lose when you sell. Because it's coming back.
But the problem was people had to sell at that point. If you lost your job, or a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah, you had to maintain your lifestyle or whatever, your job or whatnot. But as long as you did that, it doesn't matter really how low or high the value is. As long as you hold it, you're not going to lose.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Eventually, in time, it's coming back.
It is, but what if you couldn't hold
that? Sucks. That's when people fall into the cracks, as they would say, right?
Yep. And then when I was back in the day, what made me succeed, the only time I lost was in Georgia, and that property we were building. And in Michigan, I told my wife a long time ago, I said, I want to be able to work at McDonald's and pay my bills. I didn't have a house payment, and everything was cheap. And you couldn't do anything when you got kids. You just you gotta be with them, take them places, do things with them.
A big time demand.
Yeah, the only thing we probably had to miss going to. Worked our asses off. The only thing we had to do was miss like going to vacations or something. We went on vacation. Our vacations were mission trips. Yeah, I know. Went to work.
That's work.
Went to work
for vacation.
For a vacation. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Really appreciate you guys. And if you want to hit us up, we'll have some links in the bio. Thanks, guys.